All right, so here are some recommendations for a 5th grade classroom library that have queer rep, where the queer rep is the main character. Middle grade is not my forte, but I do have some suggestions to try and give a wide variety of representation. Unfortunately, I ran into an issue where some of my books were at home and some of my books were in my classrooms.
Yes, teachers are openly bragging about exposing students to inappropriate content and confusing kids about their identity through graphic books. This is insane. This is a new level. I came across this video shared on Twitter. I want us to take an exclusive look into what is actually going on exactly. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do so. And if possible, why not share this video?
All right, so here are some recommendations for a 5th grade classroom library that have queer rep, where the queer rep is the main character. Middle grade is not my forte, but I do have some suggestions to try and give a wide variety of representation. Unfortunately, I ran into an issue where some of my books were at home and some of my books were in my classroom, so it's not going to be the most streamlined recommendation list. We're going to start off with Melissa's story by Alex Gino. The author has requested that we change the name on as many of the books as possible in order to reflect the character's actual identity. So this one we've got a trans girl contemporary, middle grade. Some more trans girl rep is Pet. This one I believe is technically young adult, but it's on the shorter end of young adult. And this one is Black trans girl rep, and it is fantasy. For some Black sapphic girl rec, we've got Hurricane Child by Case and Calendar. This one is firmly middle grade. And then we've got the Not Your Sidekick series by C.B. Lee. These cover a variety of different representations depending on the book. They are middle grade and they are superhero based, so a lot of kids are into this. So that is the middle grade that I have at home. But a couple other things to consider are Rick by Alex Gino for some ace representation, and then any of the middle grade books by Ashley Herring Blake will also be good ones. And then for your kids who like to read up, Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda and the other Simon verse books are really safe. They're not going to have anything too out there, and the kids tend to love them. I know that in 6th grade that was a really popular poll, so I imagine that it would work for 5th as well. Also for some graphic novel recommendations, because those are always fun, I have Drama by Raina Telgemeier in my classroom, and then The Girl from the Sea is also middle grade graphic novel and queer.
Yes, if you have been following this channel for some time, you will realize I have done several clips partaking through these, but this one is different. Look at a teacher like this, openly bragging about bringing this type of books to kids in schools. And they are not even hiding it anymore because they know they have the backup. Immediately when they do this, you go after them or you want to call out them on social media.
Not allowing a child to use puberty blockers is simply just transphobic. It just is what it is. There's no real reason not to. Puberty blockers just allows a child to kind of freeze, allows their look to freeze, to stay in place. It gives them more time, essentially, to decide whether they want to go further with any medical transition. At any point while using puberty blockers, a child can stop and essentially just have the natural puberty that they would have, but a few years later. But a lot of people evolve differently as far as puberty. You know, it seems like some people don't hit puberty until they get in their 20s. And puberty blockers will essentially allow a gender variant child the opportunity to wait until they get older to go through a puberty. It's no big deal. Puberty blockers don't cause breast development. Puberty blockers don't affect anybody's voice. They'll essentially stay in that childlike look, their own childlike look, for a little longer. Then if you don't let your child go on puberty blockers, then you be embarrassed. Little trans girl sounded like Caitlyn Jenner. Be scared to take the child in public, want to pretend that she's deaf. Got the little trans boy out here clocky. Don't nobody want to be clocky. Ain't nobody trying to be clocky because we got to deal with so much bullshit in this superficial society and being clocky. Or pretend that the trans child don't exist. I've seen a lot of that in my work. But you ain't doing yourself no favors, you ain't doing the child no favors, and you're not changing their mind. By not letting a child go on puberty blockers, somebody who is trans and will transition, by not letting them go on puberty blockers, you're essentially just making it harder for them to transition. They're going to likely end up getting more plastic surgery or being more insecure with the way that they look as an adult. What's the point of that? Give your trans...
Yes, if there was an award for people like this or refusing that they should never be a minister, then everybody will obviously call me to be transphobic because I will never stand up for this. She says, no, he says, not allowing kid to take up puberty blockers is transphobic. Totally insane. It is crazy. I went through his TikTok account to actually see the types of videos he is putting out. There was one thing I realized. He is like a teacher, indoctrinated people on how to start before even reaching to this level of talking about puberty blockers. You might have seen this clip on some of my videos, but I always put it a little bit. I decided to play it out so you can see all the videos. Now these people have gone insane. Like seriously. You watching Joe's speech few weeks ago, he said it clear. If you stand up against this, you are a problem. Reason sometimes I don't even want to do videos pertaining to this topic because one never knows if they have called the big media, to pull down certain clips for people talking against this. Because that is always something they are fond of. Yeah, and that is the truth.